Welcome to the Health and Happiness Show. As many of you know, I'm Janet Hawkins, who am a doctor of naturopath. I am going to be your host this evening. And I'm hoping everyone is enjoying the nice weather. Here we are going into July already. It's like part of the summer is already gone. So hopefully you're enjoying, the summer days, going for a walk, maybe going swimming, going for a bicycle ride, just taking time to enjoy nature. It's like this morning, I checked out the garden and my cucumbers are blooming. My zucchini is blooming. The lettuce is just growing and growing and growing. And here we are. We're growing our own produce. We know what kind of environment we are providing for it. No chemicals, things of that sort as well. So hopefully, even though maybe you live in an apartment or a condo, you can still have your little pots out there to have some of your plants. It's getting a little late now, but you could still plant your lettuce as well, because it takes usually 6 weeks for it to start getting to a decent size as well. So as many of you know, being a doctor naturopath, what I do is I provide educational information and I put programs together for you. I am not replacing a doctor. We all need our medical doctors. And it would be so nice if we would work together. And whenever you see your doctor, and of course you normally do a yearly exam and get your blood work done to keep track of what is going on. And that's very, very important to see, have your regular checkup on a yearly basis. But being a doctor naturopath, what I do is I go into finding out what is the root cause. May it be heavy metals, may it be a lot of toxins, maybe we have a lot of stress, and we try to go in and address that naturally. And what I normally suggest, or majority of my clients, what we do is we do the saliva and urine test, which is a biological terrain assessment. And this is what it looks like. You get approximately a 12 to 15 page printout, and it's going to go in and tell you, if it's excellent, good, poor, or bad. And so in doing the report, it's going to go in and tell you if you have any heavy metals. It's going to tell you about your detox level, if you're toxic, things of that sort, and it's going to tell you about your hydration. And what we do is we do this and get you on a program, and then in 6 to 8 weeks you come back to see what progress we have made. Of course, whenever we're talking about progress, yes, we're talking about getting you on a supplement program. I prefer not to put you on more than 5 or 6 supplements. And also, of course, we would do dietary changes as well, trying to stay away from the dead foods and the processed and deep fried things of that sort as well. And we're going to dive into that later on in our show today, and we're going to talk about Eat Right for your blood type. I think that's so important. I know I had purchased the book probably maybe 8-10 years ago, and it was really good for me to go in and refresh. Being type A blood, already knew that type A blood, stress is my major issue. That's my weak area. And I don't deal well with stress, and with my last year of losing my husband, thank goodness I am into the holistic field, because the nervines help me, the magnesium helped me sleep, things of that sort. I could do the natural things. And there are times for medication. I understand that. But just remember, anytime you're on medication, you do not take your medication and your supplements together, always an hour apart. So that's so important for you to remember that. That's always rule number 1. Okay, and so we do a newsletter. I do one every month, and this is the one that we have this month, and it's on herbal remedies for cancer. And the main material in the newsletter is written by Stephen Horn, who is a master herbalist out of Utah. And then what I do is I insert like 3 pages internally in the newsletter, and I mail out the stuff to my clients. So One thing that I found very interesting, the fact that it's herbal remedies for cancer. Like, I do see clients that come in with cancer because, you know, they're very frustrated with a lot of the side effects and things of that sort with the chemotherapy and the traditional remedies that they are using or providing treatments. But if someone has had cancer and they're in remission, maybe they had breast cancer like 5, 8, 10 years ago, I still feel from the teachings and the classes that I have taken, you have to change that internal environment or it's going to come back. So what I have been taught, our disease today is coming from standard American diet and the toxins. I'm talking about the toxins that we breathe, the air, the water, and our foods. 24/7, we are bombarded with toxins. And if you haven't taken a cleanse, it's not too late. I just had a lady pick up 2 weeks ago the Tahi cleanse. It was really kind of funny. She had ordered it from Amazon, and they just sent it in the box, and it was all messed up and whatever, and she sent it back and called me and said, "Are you still in business?" And I said, "Yes, I am." So she picked up her cleanse. If it's not too late, just remember, we have to do a cleanse 4 times a year. Just remember with your season. So here we are in the summertime. It's not too late. And I will be at the Hartfield Flea Market on Saturdays. Now, I know I will be missing a Saturday in August. That would be on the 17th of August, because I'll be flying out on the 19th to Las Vegas, because I have to continue my certification by taking 23 hours of continuing credit hours. And I'll be flying out on that Monday. I'm flying in early because I am taking a 3-day class with a doctor from Oregon on getting to the root cause of our illnesses today. So we know there's heavy metals, a lot of the issues today. We know there's toxins, and he's going to go a little bit deeper. So I am like to learn and share this with you, because I do have a couple clients that are very much a challenge and we can't get to the root cause. So we have to look at the whole picture, and so I will come back in September and share with you a lot of the information. So I'll be at the class for 3 days with the doctor, and then the other 3 days I will be at the conference for the American Naturopath Medical Association. And that consists of a trade show for 3 days, and I'll be studying with MDs and NDs for 3 days as well. So it's just very intense, and that's like last year. I was introduced to the grounding, the earthing pillows. If you remember, we talked about that as well. So here we are in summertime. Get out there and walk in the grass. And this helps get your body back into balance, feeling the rhythm of the earth. That's like when you go to the beach and you walk on the beach and you come home so refreshed. That is what is happening. You're grounding. And also, I picked up the nitrate oxide the first year I was there. That comes in a powder form. It works with a lot of inflammation, blood pressure issues, things of that sort. And then every year, I usually make the rounds for like 2 days and make a decision on what I would like to possibly introduce into my business as well. So I feel very blessed that I'm able to go out there and communicate with a lot of the high tech, like Stephen Horn will be there, Ellen Jensen will be there, and there's a lot of people that I have been introduced to provide a lot of educational information as well. So back to the newsletter, you know, I was talking about we have to change that internal environment or that cancer could come back. And that's like in my newsletter, I have the article on ET, which is called SEACT. That comes in a liquid form, a capsule form, and you can make a tea out of it. This was put together many years ago, probably back in the 40s, okay? And it was put together by a nurse, and she was using this in correcting cancer. So I feel as though anyone that has been dealing with some cancer issues in their past, I would definitely continue to take the ET on a regular basis to change that internal environment. We've got to go in and clean you up. it's like your car. It's not working very well, and you get it reconditioned, and you have to maintain that. So we are no different for ourselves. So I had information on the ET, and then also I included a good printout on Lyme disease, and that is the ticks that we are seeing with this weather. You know, there for a while we were raining a lot, then it would get hot and rainy and things of that sort. And so I just know, if I know I personally have had a tick on me a couple times, and I pull them straight out, straight up with tweezers, and then I always also add some Silver Shield to go in and clean that area as well. And then I also take olive leaf after I've had that, but I tend to take olive leaf on a kind of a regular basis, I would say. And olive leaf is great because it works for viral, bacteria, candida, and parasites. So, you know, it's a great, great supplement to take internally. I just received a call from Mellisburg, Ohio. Hey, she said, can you send me 2 bottles? And so I am putting that in the mail because I do mail orders as well. So I like the liquid. That's all I carry because it's fast acting. And only take it whenever you need it. Like I personally, like whenever I do to the Hartville Flea Market on Saturdays, I'm at booth 2033 outside under the pavilion. I always take this probably on that Saturday and Sunday because I'm exposed to a lot of people, and I do the free iridology there by looking in your eyes, and that relates to your body, and it can tell us if we're toxic, maybe we're too acidic. That is when disease begins. That comes from coffee, soda pop, and stress. And then we muscle test you because remember, everything has an energy rate. So we hold our arm up straight out, and if the arm stays up whenever I say resist, if it goes down, we don't need it. So everything has energy. May it be an apple, may it be a soda pop, may it be a supplement. So this is how we decide on what we need to do for our bodies, is we muscle test. And then that's why I like the BTA, the saliva and urine testing. And that goes in and has everything on paper for you. And then when you come in for the biological terrain assessment, if you know your blood type, it will give you a printout on what's beneficial, neutral, and what you need to avoid as well. So that's just giving you a little bit of background on what we provide here. And it's by appointment, of course, as well. So we have that taken care of. Now, before we go on and dive into eating right for your blood type, I would like to review a couple little things on the summer first aid kit. You know, I know we are planning on going in July on our week vacation to Sunset Beach, and I will take my little first aid kit. So I have it like this. This is a little tackle box, fishing box, and I will take this with me. We talked about this last month. And so what we will do is I have my charcoal. We all have to have our charcoal. You never know whenever you're going to get stung by a bee or bug, you know, jellyfish, anything. So what you will do is pull this capsule apart, add a little bit of water, and make a paste, and you can feel the venom being pulled out. And if you get, say, sick, if you have diarrhea, you can take the black charcoal as well. So we all have to have the charcoal. I know I've had it in my house since my grandkids were like 3 years old. Okay, and then also you can add a little bit of slippery elm with that as well. And what you do is you take, you know, a little bit of the charcoal and add a little bit of slippery elm in the bulk and mix that together as a poultice as well, and you can apply that. And then I like my yarrow. Actually, I had to use the yarrow today. This is my feverfew, which comes up every year. Feverfew is great for migraine headaches, and it goes in and works beautifully on a daily basis if you take that. But usually when you have migraines, we go back and check and see if you're having a reaction to any food that you're eating as well. So whenever I picked my feverfew, and then you notice a little red dahlia. and I was nipping it with the scissors, and guess what? My finger got in the way. So guess what? It was bleeding. So I went and pulled the yarrow capsule apart and sprinkled the powder on there, and it stopped the bleeding right away, and there you go. So you never know when somebody's going to have a little accident, you know, or it'll stop the bleeding. You have a choice of capsicum or yarrow. So I'm just reviewing some of the little things, the basic, really important things that we have. And then, of course, we can't forget the peppermint oil and the herbal adjustment. Oh, goodness. You know, somebody's going to have a headache. They're going to have a lot of tension in their neck. Their back's hurting. You know, not used to the new beds, things of that sort. So you put that on. The peppermint oil goes on first. That's going to go in and get more oxygen into the area. And then you add the herbal adjustment. The herbal adjustment has lobelia, which is a relaxant. Then has some capsicum, so it's going to increase the circulation. So you always add the peppermint first and the herbal adjustment over that. So we will have that. So those are the main ones that I'll be taking along with us. So, you know, I just wanted to kind of review that and go review and tell you, you know, maybe you're going on a camping trip, you know, maybe you're just going to the beach, doing whatever, just getting away. So I just wanted to review on what you need in the kit as well. Now, also with us going to the beach, I will have the aloe vera, because you know somebody's going to get a sunburn. So all you have to do is put that on, and it's going to go in and calm everything down. I know another client had called me, and she was having a lot of issues, a breakout on her skin, and it was itching, and I told her that she had no aloe in the container, but she did have the aloe plant, so I told her to go break the aloe plant open and get the little juice and apply that to where the itching was, and it calmed it right down. So it's always nice to have an aloe plant, which I think they're under $3. You can get a small one, big one. I've always had mine for a long, long time. And whenever you need it, it's there, and you can just go break it off and take it. Then I did receive another call this week. Hey, we have poison ivy. What do we do? Okay, there's many different suggestions for that as well. So, I know I had it last year, and it was a nightmare, because it was very, very itchy. But the first thing that you can do is there is jewelweed, and that's usually the plant that grows beside it. And you can take that internally, and you can apply that externally as well. So that is number one. And then if you're having a lot of, say, itching and it's really bothering you, you can apply the organic apple cider vinegar and apply that and put that on externally. Then also, too, if you have it like on your arms and your legs and maybe your feet, what you can do is you can take a bath, and then you can put in a half a cup of baking soda in a bathtub filled with warm water, of course, and then you can also add and make a paste out of it by adding like 3 teaspoons of baking soda with a teaspoon of water until it becomes a paste, and you can apply that. But I know when I had it, I used the baking soda into the warm water to help it, because I had it on below my legs, I had it on my arms, and I had some on my stomach. But once you start itching that, it just continues to spread. So those are some different choices that you can use for it as well. And then another thing that you can use too is you can use the aloe gel, which we just talked about. If you have the aloe plant, you can apply that. And some witch hazel can work as well if you're having a lot of itching. And another thing I found in my research too is you can use organic cucumbers. And it's very cooling, and you make a paste and you apply it to the skin to help with the heat and itching as well. So those are just some, you know, quiet little hints on what you can do to help with the poison ivy, because it's this time of year. I know I have it, and yes, I'm wearing my gloves. I'm usually wearing my working pants to cover everything up, so I am not exposed to it again this year, because I had never had poison ivy. And your body changes, and so you have different reactions. So, and some people can get it really, really bad. So I always have the jewelweed on hand, And then, like I said, I do the apple cider vinegar if you get a rash right away. But always wear your gloves, long sleeves, things of that sort to protect you. Okay, so before we dive into the Eat Right for Your Blood Type, I did want to go over the Dirty Dozen list. It's a new one that just came out, and so usually what this has gone by is the Environmental Working Group, and it's an organization that goes in and checks the pesticides on the different foods that we are consuming on a daily basis. And then also the consumer report, you know, like there's a consumer report on a magazine that comes out and tells you how the car is functioning, how your clothes dryer is. They also incorporated this as well. So the first thing on the Dirty Dozen list is, and I really thought it was a good time to emphasize this, are strawberries. This is, you know, June is a month for strawberries, so I know I went to the farmer's market and I just purchased some. And of course it's an organic farm that had them, because you have to understand, strawberries is one of the most chemicals that are used per acre in California. And they receive like 60 times more pesticides than corn. Unbelievable. So you always, always have to have organic strawberries. I can't say that enough, because that's the number one on the hit list is strawberries. The pesticides are unbelievable, okay? And then number two is spinach. And the nice thing is you can go to like Mark's, I believe you can go to Aldi's, and you can get organic spinach as well. I've seen them both there. So this one, or maybe you're very fortunate and you're growing your own spinach. So if you grow your own, of course you know what is on it and how you have, what conditions it's been grown in. No chemicals, things of that sort. So, and then, so we had strawberries, number one. Number two is spinach, and number three is kale and mustard greens. So I found this very, very interesting. A lot of your greens are very, very toxic, so we have to do organic as much as we can. And number four is grapes. Now what I do, I kind of cheat a little bit, because I go to Raisin Rack in Canton, because I can walk in and everything's organic. I don't have to worry about it in their produce, which I like that. It makes it easier for you. I mean, you can go to Fresh Thyme. They have their organic section as well. You have to find one that works for you, and it makes it much easier when they have it divided, the organic together. And then with the grapes, there were like 19 pesticides that were found in this, at least. And then they found that the pesticides are very toxic to honeybees that were in the grapes. So I thought that was very interesting as well. So just remember, grapes are number 4 on the list. Number 5 are peaches. So anyway, the peaches has a lot of pesticides as well. I'm not going to go into depth. I'm trying to make this as quickly and easily as we can. So you have to stick to organic peaches, because they reported that non-organic canned peaches are low in pesticides. So if you're going to get some canned peaches, it would be okay, because there's not many there. So it received an excellent rating if you choose to buy canned peaches. So that's good for you to take note on and write that down in your notes as well. Okay? And then what you would do if you're getting the organic peaches, I would look also for organic fruit juice instead of a corn syrup, which we know corn syrup is a GMO, genetically modified, which is not good. Just remember, back in the 90s, whenever genetically modified was introduced, GMOs, a lot of autism went through the ceiling, and I feel between that and the vaccines, that is part of our autism today. That's just my personal opinion, okay? Okay, so next one, number 6, is pears, and that had at least 5 different pesticides in it as well. And then when buying fresh pears, choose organic if possible. Both the domestic and the imported pear samples were rated excellent, okay? So I would still do organic pears if you're going to do this, okay? And number 7 was the nectarines. And the good news is that the organic nectarines are very low in pesticides, according to the Consumer Report data, okay? And then the apples, this one I found very, very interesting, okay? And first of all, the problem occurs after harvest whenever the conventional apples are bathed in a chemical in which keeps their skins pretty while they are in cold storage. So they said that's best not to do that. So that's why you would try to do an organic apple so we don't have that chemical coating on the apple as well, okay? And also, American-grown apples are banned in Europe. I found that very, very interesting. So the number 9 are bell and hot peppers, okay? And with the toxins in this particular, the bells and hot peppers, it causes nervous symptom problems. And this is why I love to going into eating right for your blood type, because it'll give you an idea of what fruits and vegetables are good for you, and I'm giving you a guide on what needs to be organic and doesn't have to be. So we're talking about the Dirty Dozen right now. So number 9 was the hot peppers and the bells, and number 10 are the cherries. Cherries are peak right now, and yes, I did get some organic ones. I had to take a deep breath because they're not cheap. I think they were $5 or something for a pound. But at least they're clean, and you don't have to worry about a lot of the toxins as well. Okay, and then also for number 11, blueberries are back on the Dirty Dozen list for a second year in 2024. And they were off of the list for several years, but unfortunately they gained a spot back. So there we are. So just remember, blueberries are preferred over organic rather than conventional growth, okay? And this is a new one as well. Number 12 is like green beans are back on the Dirty Dozen list for second year in a row because there were several pesticides, okay? So that's our Dirty Dozen. So the last 2 were the blueberries and the green beans. And if you notice, like I will go to Mark's, they'll have organic green beans in a package, but always check the date on when they expire as well, okay? And that's another good thing too. We have the Yucca app, and that is an app that you can put on your phone, and you can zap the barcode of your produce. Sometimes it comes up, sometimes it doesn't, but especially on the processed food, it'll come up and tell you excellent, poor, good, or bad. And I know it's very hard to find a good ketchup. I found one, I believe it was at Giant Eagle, and then I found another good one of mayonnaise too. So those are the 2 rough ones that are hard to find. But this is nice to have in your phone, so you can at least, you know, packaged food, you can zap that and find out where it stands as well. Now the Clean 15, these are the least pesticide contaminated. So get your paper and notes out, and let's write this down. Number 1 is avocados. Okay, so remember with the avocados, there's this little peel that you can say on there, it'll say a peel. You don't want that. That is a toxic coating. So make sure whenever you buy the avocados, there's no little sticker that says a peel on it. And another one on the clean amount is the sweet corn. And you've got to make sure that the sweet corn is clean, non-GMO corn. So I know at Fresh Time they'll say non-GMO corn. Okay, so you don't want any GMO corn. You want the corn without the GMOs. Okay, and then the pineapple is another one that's on the Clean 15. And then we have onions. And what is so interesting about the onions, majority of the outer layers in the skin are typically removed as you peel the onion. And so if there are onions there, there's not really a lot of pesticides. You're taking it off because you're peeling it on the outside. So you're okay with that one as well. And then we have the papaya as well. And we have sweet peas. And then you can also get the frozen ones as well. And you can use those a lot of times as an ice pack as well. And there were very, very few pesticides in the sweet peas. And the asparagus as well. And then we have the honeydew is in the Clean 15 as well. And then we have our cabbage, which hopefully most of you have planted your cabbage plants. I know I only planted like 4, but I like to have my cabbage to put in with maybe a roast, put it in the vegetable soup in the wintertime, and it adds a lot of nice flavor as well. And it's easy to grow. You plop it in, there you go, and it's really good until like October, November. I know I've gone out and picked my cabbage like in the fall when the weather has really cooled off quite a bit. So cabbage is on the Clean 15, but you can plant it yourself. Plant it in between your rose bushes or out in the, around your house if you have to, if you don't have the space. And then number 11 is the watermelon. It's a clean one as well. And the mushrooms as well. And then we have the sweet potatoes. Now, and then we have the carrots. I tend to buy my potatoes that they are organic. They have those at Fresh Sign in like a little package, and they're not too bad. And then number 15 are the carrots as well. And the mangoes are in there too. So that gives you an idea on the Dirty Dozen list, and then the fresh ones as well. So just remember also that what we're going to do now is we're going to get into the Eat Right for Your Blood Type. Here is the book that I had gotten like maybe 8-10 years ago, and it was on the bestseller for a long time. And it was great reviewing it and to get back on track a little bit, which I think we all need that at times. And if you know your blood type, that's great. A lot of times you can ask your doctor. They may know from the blood work that they've done on you. Or you can go on Amazon, or I have the little kits here that you can purchase these as well and do your own little pricking on your finger, and there's a little chart that tells you what your blood type is. So we have, what's so interesting is we're going to have, I'm going to go through the 4 different types. And then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about each one. But first of all, I'm going to review the different types. So with the natural healing traditions throughout the world, they recognize the importance of a person's constitution in selecting remedies. Because a lot of times, constitution is rooted in your genetic makeup. And one of these is the difference in your blood type. Because when I do iridology, I'll look in the iris, the color part of your eye, and I'll say, you have a great constitution. That means good genetics, nice even fibers. Nice, it's a good constitution. You receive that from the family, passed down through the generations. And then also, you may also know that if you were to receive a blood transfusion from a blood type that is not compatible, your immune system will react to it. So there are 4 different types of blood type. And of course, type O is the most popular one. And then there's type A, and there's type B, and there's AB. And blood types affect how you interact with foods and how your immune system works. It appears to affect your nervous system, how you handle stress, and even your personality. And we're going to talk about that in each one of your blood types. So in the research done by the doctor, this is a book by Dr. D'Adamo, and he is a naturopath out of Connecticut, and he spent a lot of time putting this book together. And strong correlation between your blood type and the foods and the supplements that we need. And that's why I like when I do the saliva and urine testing, the BTA, it's going to give you a printout on excellent, neutral, or poor. So it's going to tell you what is best for you and what you need to stay away from. I know from my experience, I am type A blood. I don't do well with red meat. I just don't. Now, I can eat it in vegetable soup, but like I had made chili this winter, I just couldn't do it. Between the tomatoes, it was too acidic, and the meat, I just couldn't do it. But you have to listen to our body because it's always talking to us, okay? So it shows that through the research that he has provided, that people with different blood types tend to have different reactions to stress and to different health issues, which we're going to talk about that as well. So in our discussion, I will share some of the health tendencies of each blood type and the basic diet with you. So just keep in mind that we're only discussing the general characteristics, as blood type is not only a genetic factor that influences your health and personality. It will give you a guide that you may need to customize your health program to fit your unique needs and circumstances. So let's dive right in and get started. Okay, so the first one is type O. This is the most dominant blood type, and type O can donate blood to anyone because they have no antigens in their red blood cells. This means there is no structure present to trigger an immune reaction in other blood types. Generally speaking, and then we have the chart right up there. He's brought the chart up. And what is so cool about the chart is I love it because what you can do is, like, there's a little heart to the right side of the food. And that's telling you it's good for you and it's beneficial. And if you see a little round dot, that means it's neutral. That's to the left of the food, okay? And then if you see a little triangle or like a diamond shape, that is to avoid, okay? And then onto the far right, it's going to tell you tends to be alkaline or acidic, things of that sort, and protein. And what I really like, if we have people that come in that are diabetic, it's going to tell you the low glycemic and the high glycemic. So that's the low sugar, high sugar, which is very beneficial as well. So, but we're going to go through that more in depth in a little bit, but I just want to talk about the general blood types. People with type O have a strong immune system and a good digestion. They also tend to be more aggressive personalities and enjoy physical activity. They like to play maybe football, basketball. They're very competitive. They also have a high percentage of a sturdy body with a large chest and broader shoulders as well. So that's a little basic information about type O. So if you know your blood type, kind of think back and see if it relates to you. Okay, so the next one is type A. This is the second most predominant blood type. People with this blood type have the antigen on their blood cells, which means they can receive blood from people with type A or O transfusion. They can't receive blood transfusions from B or AB because their immune system reacts against the B, just like it thinks it's a toxin or it's an infection, so they won't adjust to that. Blood type A tend to describe themselves as sensitive to the needs of others. They are good listeners and creative, organized, and analytical. They have a tendency towards tall and slender body. So that is type A blood. Now we're going to type B, and type B have the antigens on their red blood cells as well, which means they can receive blood type B or type O, but not from A or AB. They tend to see themselves as subjective, creative, easygoing, and flexible. They have varied body types with no type dominating. So that's just a general overview of the blood type B. Now type A and B, people with blood type AB have both A and B antigens. Because of this, they can receive blood from all types. And they are the rarest of the blood types, less than 4% of the population, which I found very, very interesting. People with the rare blood types often see themselves as intuitive, and then they are very passionate and emotional. Their body type tends to be a little chubby or pear-shaped as well. Your blood type has everything to do with how you digest your food, your ability to respond to stress, and your mental state and the efficiency of your metabolism and strength of your immune system. So let's go through and start at the beginning, okay? Let's go back to the type O again. We'll have A can bring up type O again and get your notes ready. So we're going to go through this as well. So, like I said, the little heart is the beneficial, and that is to the, when you're looking at it from my viewpoint, that is to the left of, like, say, type O. What is beneficial are bananas And they do well with bass. They do well with beef. Yeah, they're meat eaters, okay? And the neutral foods with the little round dot have no effect based on the blood type. And they can be consumed whatever they want. It's fine. The avoid foods is like a little diamond shape, and they have a negative reaction and can stimulate a reaction to the body and should be avoided or used very little, okay? And like we said, people with this blood type tend to be strong, self-reliant. They tend to have good digestion, strong immune system. They can eat all the meat that they would like, and they can. They are prone to infections like H. pylori, and that would be an intestinal inflammation or an ulcer, and also consumption of red meat, especially for breakfast, helps stabilizes their moods as well. And if they crave wheat, they should eat protein instead, okay? They may benefit from supplements with like, they should avoid kava and St. John wort, which is not good for them. And they may benefit from glutathione, and also the anti-stress supplements with B complex and vitamin C and B12 and folic acid would be beneficial as well. And they tend to be have a hyperactive immune system. And remember, their strengths are strong digestive and immune system. And that means that they have a good immune system against infections, and they have a very good metabolism as well. Now, one of their weaknesses on type O is the immune system can become overactive and intolerance to new dietary and environmental conditions. What they need to avoid, basically remember this for type O, is to avoid wheat, corn, dairy, kidney, and navy beans. And also cauliflower, potatoes, peanuts, and oranges and tangerines. So what this is a chart, and yes, I do have the charts available, and they're very reasonable. They're only $5, and then it tells you on the back, it tells you, you know, all about all of the little things that I've gone over. This is the chart on the front, and then we have this on the back as well. So it tells you about maintaining your pH, which I like to use the chlorophyll for that. And with the chlorophyll, you just add that to your water, and that's going to balance your pH, and it's going to detox you and help your hemoglobin if you tend to be anemic. So that is always something to add to your water, especially if you don't like just drinking plain water. Also, what you can do is add like maybe 2 to 4 lemons to your water as well, and that'll help balance your acidity as well. Just remember, our acidic condition comes from coffee, soda pop, and stress. And I see a lot of the acidity when I do the iridology. Just remember, the chlorophyll is balancing the pH. It's going to detox you, and that is so, so important in the toxic world that we're living in today. So we have that, and these, like I said, I have these available. I'll have these at the market for me as well. And then we're going back to type A, personality, so we can go in and review that as well. Like we said, it is the second most popular blood type, and also we don't do well with red meat. It can create problems. And now what I have found for myself, and I can listen to my body, that I do well with like turkey. And let's go in here and let's look at turkey and see what it says. Okay, turkey is neutral, so it's not going to really cause any problems, but it's not going to be really beneficial. Where like for, let's go in and check this one. Let's check this one. Another one that would be very beneficial would be salmon, and I love my salmon. So that's what's so nice, because it's going to tell you, like if you go out to eat, it'll give you an idea on what you need to get when you're going out to dinner, okay? And so another thing that what we like to do, beneficial activities are more calming, more relaxing, maybe like yoga, maybe walking, swimming, tend to be the most beneficial activities for us. Breathing exercises. Singing can also be helpful for type A blood as well. So, and whenever we are under stress, we may produce cortisol under stress and have a hard time breaking it down. And this may help us to make it difficult for us to recover from stress, and it may affect our sleeping as well. So it's very beneficial to use a lot of B complex, maybe some vitamin C, some nervines, which I love my passion flower and my skull cap. I personally use the skull cap because I get it in a liquid form, and it can go in and help you tremendously, especially if you take it before you go to bed at night to help you sleep. Another one is ashwagandha, which is very calming as well for your mood as well. So that would be something. And melatonin can be helpful with problems with sleep. So also another thing that can help reduce, which I found this very interesting, is zinc. It can go in and reduce the excess cortisol and reduce the anxiety as well. I would just do like maybe 15, no more than 25 milligrams of that on a daily basis. So activities to avoid that may create a lot of stress could involve large crowds, caffeine, and lack of sleep should be definitely avoided as well. And the strength, we adapt well to dietary, environmental changes, and also we're cooperative and creative, and our metabolism really pretty much goes with the flow as well. Our weaknesses, like I said, for type A is prone to anxiety, and also our immune system isn't open as strong as type O, so that's more important to also have your olive leaf here as well. And we need to avoid red meat, absolutely, for type A, and pork, and dairy, and wheat, and bananas, and tomatoes, and oranges, and papaya. Okay, so that's the type A, and now we're going to go to the blood type B. And these aren't quite as common because most people are O, like we talked about, or A is next. So, like we said, type A are a rare blood type. They tend to be balanced, flexible, and creative. They have a strong immune system, and they shape well and adjust to the environmental changes and dietary as well. So, they are more prone to blood sugar problems and depression and low thyroid and high blood pressure. So supplements can help reduce this out and balance out their blood sugar and improve circulation. So that would be definitely something to consider, like some magnesium, some CoQ10, some chromium. I have found chromium to be very, very beneficial for lowering the blood sugar. And then zinc would also be good. Alpha-litic acid would be very beneficial as well. So the beneficial activities for type B is moderate physical exercise, like bicycling, tennis, swimming, and possibly some hiking. They have a very strong immune system and a balanced nervous system as well. Their weaknesses are to viruses and autoimmune disorders and strong reactions to food and memory loss as well. So that's another reason if you have some genetic problems in your family, like in my family, there's a lot of heart issues. So I am very, very particular to take my CoQ10 on a daily basis. I am very conditioned to being exercising on a regular basis. Now I can be over exercise too much, so I have to kind of balance myself out. Type A personality, we can be a little excess at times in doing things. So we have to remember to keep everything in balance. So finishing up here on type B is major things to avoid are corn, chicken, tomatoes, peanuts, and wheat as well. So that's that one. And now our last one is type A and B, and only 4% of the population has this type of, it's one of the rarest. It is a cross between type A and blood type B, and they have characteristics of both. They tend to be very adaptable and more modern civilization, and tend to be more mysterious. They tend to have a sensitive digestive tract and are overly tolerant immune system, which makes them more prone to infections. So they also tend to have higher levels of, let's see what this is. They also overreact to stressful situations, and also they tend to have low levels of hydrochloric acid, making it difficult for them to digest protein. So that would be one where they would want to take a digestive enzyme to help break that food down, and it would help them very much. They have high levels of clotting factors, which makes them more prone to forming blood clots, and natural enzymes can be helpful in reducing blood clot tendencies. L-arginine is also useful for enhancing the nitrate oxide to dilate the blood vessels and reduce the pressure as well. They have a very sensitive digestive tract, and also they also benefit from calming activities like yoga, and they can do a little bit of cycling and maybe some tennis. And major things they need to avoid diet-wise is chicken, pork, corn, lima, and kidney beans, and bananas as well. So that are just some of the highlights of each blood type, and we have the charts available. And like I said, they're only $5 because we try to keep it reasonable, because it gives you a good idea on where we need to go. So you know if you have a weakness in your family, like I said, mine is heart. So, you know, I'm taking my COQ10, which I feel as though anybody over the age of 50 needs to consider taking COQ10. That's going to go in and help the mitochondria, which is the energy, the powerhouse of your cell. And that's going to help it, because after the age of 50, that tends to decline as well. So, and also if you are on a statin drug, that is very, very important to take COQ10, because one of the side effects of a statin drug is it reduces the COQ10 as well. So just remember, like we discussed earlier, do not take your medication with your supplements. I don't care if it's vitamin D, vitamin C, and vitamin C, I can't enhance enough how important that is. We have to get that from our food. And it's water soluble. Remember, we have water soluble and fat soluble vitamins. The water soluble are B vitamins and your C. And both of these can create your urine to be yellow, so don't panic when you take those. And your fat soluble are like vitamin E, vitamin A, and vitamin D. So I'm just sharing that with you. So even though it's summertime, I feel as though it's very important for us all to take vitamin D3 to keep that immune system strong. We get the vitamin D3 from the sun. So hopefully you're outside. I mean, a lot of us work inside, so we're not outside, but maybe on the weekend you are. But I think it's safe to take at least 2,000 units in the summertime. I personally take more. I take 4,000 to 5,000 on a daily basis because I'm type A blood. So every one of us are unique with our blood type on what we need. So, you know, knowing my immune system isn't as strong as O, the O, they probably wouldn't even have to take it. But I feel as though that I do to keep my immune system strong. So, in summary, hopefully this has given you some ideas on what we have to do to keep our days and keep our bodies strong. So here I just want to share some supplement points with you. So first of all, we need to structure our day to reduce our stress and gain more satisfaction. And then number 2 is we need to fine-tune our dietary strategies, produce new levels of energy, and that's going to help us by going by the guide on Eat Right for your blood type, and overcome the chronic and health conditions that may have plagued your family for a long time. I know it's gone back to my grandfather had heart disease, my uncle had heart disease, so it's in my family. So, you know, if you have like some memory issues, you know, I feel as though it's important to take your zinc and things of that sort. If, you know, we're having some memory loss in your family as well. Or if there is cancer, definitely we need to go in and be really focused on eating more organic foods because we don't want that toxic environment there. So, and then we want to live longer, so we want to make sure we have good mental clarity and physical activity. I mean, we got to keep moving or we're going to lose. And we need to find emotional balance and elimination of anxiety and depression. Listen to your body, it's talking to you. So, you know, you're the CEO, be well, enjoy the summer, and take the time to enjoy the little miracles. May it be the butterfly flying by. May it be sitting at night and watching the sunset. You know, enjoy life. Enjoy the minute and be blessed. Thank you.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.